Hello, welcome to my channel. My makeup's been on all day. I'm not going to go ahead and explain that because, I'm human and makeup wears off and whatever. Anyways, this video is about all of the palettes that I used in February. So let's get into it. There's quite a few, and I'm excited to put them away. I love doing these videos. I hate storing everything until it's time to show you because I want to put it back up because then I'd have to pull it back down anyways. So anyways, it just gets this big pile and then it's obnoxious. So I'm excited to show you everything and put it away. So I use this Don't Be Jelly from Unearthly Cosmetics. I used it quite a few times. It is fairly new to me. I've used it, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 times now, and I love this palette. As you can see, a lot of the indentations, not all of them, are gone because I have used it quite a bit. Anyways, I got this from Andy Does Stuff because, she's an amazing friend without sending me stuff. I'm gonna say that, but then she spoils me and sends me stuff, and she's really generous and good. So anyways, she sent me this palette and I love the shimmers. I love this palette. I love Jellyfish. So I love that I have this palette and I liked the way it performed and all of the looks that I created. I used the Natasha Denona Retro Glam palette. I got this in a Busy Beauty Customs box. I believe that I use this with something else. I do enjoy this palette and the quality of it, but I do kind of like to pair it because it does run just a little light for me. But I love those minty shades, and the pinks are very pretty, and it's a good palette. I used the Be a Gift from St. Angel Sinners. Darcy was so kind to send this to me. I just used I want to say it was the Giving the Gift. It has a purple blue or purple green shift to it. I don't think it's showing in camera, but it does shift and it is a really pretty shadow. I only used it for that shade, but nonetheless, it's still a great palette. I used the Glamlight Icy palette, which also came from Andy Does Stuff. I had pan in it, and I also used this for other shadows in it as well. I didn't just use that shadow, and I really do like this palette. It is what's stopping me from getting the Betty Boop palette. I used the Ace Beauty Tropical Vibes palette, which was also gifted to me from Andy Does Stuff. I did hit pan in that shadow, and I used this multiple times, not just the shadow I was working on, and I love this palette. It is a dream. I used the Chucky Glamlight palette and I created a look that made me feel so pretty. But maybe I'll post it because it's a standout look for me. I just felt really good in it. But I love this palette. I love these tones. I used the Kush Queen from Peachy Queen Cosmetics. I got this in a Busy Beauty Customs box, and I used the yellow and the orange. They were both really pretty, and I enjoyed those shades. I need to use more of the shadows. I used the Blend Bunny Sugar and Grunge. Fairly sure, pretty certain, fairly sure. Well, it's been a long day. That I use this more than once this month. And yeah, I enjoyed this palette and the looks that I created. I also used the Blend Bunny Lure palette. I love this packaging so much and the textures so much. And this is what the palette looks like. Everybody's probably seen it 1,000 times. I'm sorry about all the glare, but yeah. I used this a couple times and I love the looks a couple times this month. Okay, I used the Lunar New Year from BH Cosmetics. Guess who this came from? Andy. and I hit pan in it, and yeah, it's a really pretty palette. I actually created a look with it, and I want to create more looks with it. I think it is a very beautiful, stunning palette, and I wish BH could go back to being BH. And it breaks my heart that I don't think that's gonna ever happen. This is the Jolie Ether Etherality. Some days I can say it, other days I cannot. Um, and it is a stunning palette. I love this palette so much. I created quite a few looks because this was my no pan left behind. As you can see, I accidentally hit pan in the fairy dust. I mean, it wasn't an accident. Like, I mean, I didn't like stick my finger in it. Didn't like jam my finger in it. I used it and I hit pan. It was a pan that happened naturally, which to me is an accidental pan. Anyway, I like this palette a lot, of course, and I had fun. I used the Ace Beauty Oceanic palette. I paired this with the Tropical Vibes. I think I used this twice actually. I absolutely love this green shadow. It's like probably one of my favorite bright green shadows in my collection. And yeah, breathe, breathe. Okay, I used the Rick and Morty palette, and I believe I used it several times. I got this in a Busy Beauty custom box, and I love this palette. It is stunning. Another Blend Bunny palette. I used the Blend Bunny Surge. I got this in a Busy Beauty Customs box, and yeah, I use this palette. And again, I'm really sad that this one is falling apart. That's like my favorite shade in the palette, to be quite honest. It's just such a good pink, and I don't like pink, and that is a pink that I like. And it broke, and it kind of makes me sad. But anyways, this is a really good palette. I use the Be Perfect Carnival Love Tahiti. Guess who this came from? Andy Dusto. And I love this palette. The reds in here are so stand out in my opinion. They are actually red, which is what I kind of reached into this palette for. I've seen somebody on Instagram use this palette and create a look. I wish I knew her name. She's like a bigger influencer. And I was like, damn, that is so red. I keep like dreaming about red and looking at red palettes when I've got a palette right here that has really good reds in it, and they really did turn red on me and stayed red. But yeah, love this palette. Thank you, Andy. Um, I use the Blend Bunny Sickly Sweet, and it looks like this. Now, I bought this because every time I see it, I'm like, oh, it's so pretty. And then I'm like, oh, Ash, you don't really like pastels. I used it. The pastels are good. I used it a couple times. The shimmers are good. I really like that cupcake shadow. I wish there was more like orange in here and more like yellow. I, I don't know. It's a good palette. It is. The formula is good. This is a companion palette and will be one that I will reach into to blend shadows. It's just not a standalone palette for me. I used the Gourmand Girls Haunted palette. It looks like this. It is so beautiful. I love their formula so much. Their mattes, they build. They're not really pigmented in my opinion, but they build to a pigment that's beautiful and they blend beautifully and they pack together beautifully. The shimmers are just amazing. I freaking like this brand. I will say the packaging is really light. It doesn't feel like bougie or nice. It's an okay package, but it's not like when you get it, you're like, oh, it's really kind of light. I don't know. That's the only nitpicky thing I have, and I really don't give two shits, really, honestly, about the packaging. um, being like that. But I love the way this, formula is. I used the Melt Rusted palette, and I enjoyed the look that I created. Um, Melt is a brand that can get me to wear neutral colors. Not very many brands can get me to be super neutral, and that is a brand that gets me. I use the Nightshade by Gourmand Girls as well. It's pretty, it's stunning. These are like new to me. It's a newer to me brand, and I'm really enjoying it. I do like the fact that the 4 palettes that I have from them are all shaped the same. This is Silent Night, and I have used this once. I need to use it more. I will say that these two blues are too similar. I wish that one of these would be a lighter blue. That would have been nice, or even a very dark green. I don't think that goes with the theme, but it would have looked really good with this palette, in my opinion. But I would have gone with the light blue. But other than that, like, it's a really stunning palette. Love the formula, and I liked the look that I created and can't wait to create more with it. And then the Gourmand Girls Spooked. I used this as well. I used this a couple of times. It's very neutral, but it has those colors, those pops of color, and you can make I can make this palette colorful, even though it doesn't look that colorful, but it does sort of look colorful. It's like half color, half neutral. Clearly, I'm going to use more of the color shades, but it's really beautiful, and the shimmers in here are just stunning. I used the Mulan Color Pop palette. This was in my No Pan Left Behind, and I left 4 pans behind and am decluttering this palette. It just hasn't aged well. But I left it in this, thing because I needed to show you all the palettes I used. I used the It's Freaking Bats by Shroud Cosmetics. And it looks like this. Of course, I have that pan now, which is exciting. And I enjoyed using this palette. This formula isn't my favorite, but I can make it work for me. And then I have the Melt Halloween Town. I just got this. Sephora had a sale. It was $30. It was half off, you guys. This is what I'm wearing right now, although I've been wearing my makeup all freaking day. So, don't judge me and don't judge this based off of this. But this was $30. The other one was $30 too, but it was sold out, which was sad because I like that color story more. But I did get this because I am a Melt stan, and I do love Oogie. I do have an Oogie tattoo. So I don't think this palette screams Oogie. It screams Halloween Town, Nightmare Before Christmas, yes, but not Oogie. But I am so excited I got that for $30. I dropped. So only a couple more, you guys. I know I use a lot of palettes. It's crazy. I use this Be Perfect Antidote palette. It looks like this. I love this palette. It came from Makeup by POW. I also use this BH Cosmetics palette. It looks like this. This is the Naughty palette. I used the Melt a Mariposas. This is currently in my No Pan Left Behind, and I still have a lot of looks I need to create with it. But I did use it once so far. And one more, you guys. This is the Beauty Bay Age of Opulence. Guess who this came from? Andy Desta. And yeah, I use this. Yeah, it's a stunning, beautiful palette. Well, I'm out of breath, you guys. That was a lot of palettes to go through. I tried not to take too long, you know. I didn't count how many I went through. But I used a lot this month. I feel like, I mean, I use a lot every month, but I feel like I used quite a few this month. Anyways, I'm just gonna go. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and thanks for joining me on this journey. I, yeah, I'm just gonna go. Let me know which palette was your favorite. If you have any thoughts about the palettes I have, anything like that. Okay, bye.